Hi, this is Kathy from Ladies Stamp A Lot. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Chesapeake, Virginia. And today I have 14 cards that I want to show you that I made using the Hydrangea Haven stamp set and the coordinating hydrangea dies, as well as the designer series paper and some other products that go along with this suite. And I will have all the products linked with this video somewhere so you can go and see if there's anything that you might be interested in purchasing. This stamp set and dies is carrying over to the annual catalog, but the designer series paper that I use on a lot of my cards will be retiring at the end of June 2021. So if you like the cards that I made with the paper, that may be something you want to get for sure while it's still available. And then the stamp set and dies will carry over to the new annual catalog. Okay, so this card right here uses a piece of that designer series paper. This is the pattern here, and I just cut off a piece to fit the card front, added a greeting, and the card is done. And I will link what that stamp set is because I don't remember right now, but obviously you could put anything there to make it any kind of card that you like. All right, the next card uses, again, just a designer series paper, two patterns here on a base, and then the Tasteful Touches dies. And this stamp is from Seaside Notions, one of my favorite sets for words, and it is retiring. Again, I'll have that linked so you can look at that. And then this is made exactly the same way, just using different papers and a different die. This is a Stitch So Sweetly die. And then this is from So Sentimental, another stamp set that is retiring. This color is Rococo Rose, which is also retiring and is on limited supply right now. All right, here's another card, just designer series paper. This is a piece similar to the first card, and then I just put a coordinating piece here. I wrapped around, very hard to see, but I have a white and pale pink baker's twine, and then a greeting. All right, this one is still designer series paper, just cut up in different patterns. And then this floral image is, I actually fussy cut that out from one of the papers. So this is all designer series paper. The greetings from Seaside Notions. The stitched die, that white circle die is retiring, but the layering dies are carrying over. The Stitch So Sweetly dies are one of my favorites, and I'm definitely going to miss them. Oh, there's a little bit of that ribbon. Okay, still just with the designer series paper. I just took a piece of the beautiful paper, matted it, put it on a base, added some ribbon, Stitch So Sweetly dies, Seaside Notions stamp set, a few pearls, and you have it. Beautiful. All right, and then this is another one. These images here are cut from designer series paper. Now this one, the white piece, I'm trying to see if you can see that, is made with an embossing folder called, what is it called? Dainty Diamonds. It is retiring at the end of April. It's on sale right now for $8.10. It's one of my absolute favorite embossing folders. And if you could see it in real life, it almost sparkles, even though it's just paper, just the way it is. It's just really, really gorgeous. This set of dies here is also retiring. And then this is from Best Year. Just any kind of greeting would work on this card. And it's all just with paper. Now here's where I get into a little bit of stamping. So I stamped the hydrangea with Memento, and then I colored it with my blends. So I used the light and dark Highland Heather blends, And then the leaves I colored with the light and dark old olive blends. A little bit of designer series paper here, another piece of designer series paper, and then this piece is embossed with tasteful textures just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then here's that new oval punch. It punches out both shapes, a regular oval and a scalloped oval. The last time I checked, that was on back order, but it is carrying over to the new catalog. So that's something to look out for. That's a really fun punch. Okay, now this one is similar. I just used different colors. But what I did was after I stamped it, instead of coloring it with the blends, I used one of the stamps has this image and I filled it in. Now you may notice, I should have mentioned the images on the cover of this stamp set are shown at 75%. So you can see they're bigger in real life. So what you see on this cover is not what you get. They're a little bit bigger. So I stamped that out, but then after I colored it, I cut it out with the dies, and it just adds a little bit of extra dimension. Here's a Stitch So Sweetly rectangle, the pearls, designer series paper, and then a little bow with that white and pink baker's twine. All right, now for this one, I stamped the image on Highland Heather cardstock, and then I stamped the image on white cardstock, but I took my one of the dies, I believe it was this one down here, or it might have been that one. I'd have to look for sure. And I stamped it with Gorgeous Grape ink, and then I stamped it with Seaside Spray ink just to give it a little different dimension and tone of color. And then behind here you can see I did this watercolor look. Again, that's from this image, and I just made a background by just stamping that along the back. Here's some designer series paper, and we have a really pretty card. Okay, designer series paper at the bottom. Here's some ribbon that is retiring at the end of May, and it's on clearance or a closeout price. Is really reasonable price for that. It just adds a nice little touch. To make this hydrangea, I cut the stem and the leaves out of old olive, and then the detail, the same color. And then I stamped on white, and I colored the flower blue, but then I took the dies, and down here, this long die is one big die, but when you run it through your cut and emboss machine, you get all individual flowers. So I think I did that about 2 times, and then just glued all those individual flowers onto that hydrangea for a little more texture and added interest, and some pearls. And that greeting is from one of my favorite kits, Looking Up, which is retiring. Okay, for this card, I stamped the, well, first I put a mask here so that I wouldn't stamp on this white area as the card base. And then I stamped around the outside with the outline flower, this one here. And then I stamped it with the fill using Highland Heather, but then I did it stamping off so you get different tones of that color. Now what's interesting for this flower, I used this die and cut my flower out of designer series paper, and this has little pieces that fold up and bend up. It cut through, but not completely, so it's still attached, and just gives really a lot of dimension to that flower. Just really, really pretty in real life. And I did the same thing to this one here, just a different pattern, but I just cut it, and the pieces just, when you see it in real life, they pop up. Behind here, this is another embossing folder. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like cursive writing. I'm going to do a plug for this one as well. It is called Scripty. It's regular $10, on sale for $9 while supplies last, through the end of April. And some pearls. And then this purple down here is actually designer series paper. I just cut up into 1/2 inch strips and added my greeting right there, sentiment, and the card is done. But with that Scripty embossing folder behind it just really adds something really subtle but really special for this card. And then the last card is one I made. It's like one I made for my Stampin' Up team leader. She recently reached the $1 million in sales, lifetime sales with Stampin' Up. So I had to make her a special card, and it was similar to this. I had different greetings for her. Well, I had this one, to an incredible woman. This is stamped, and then the inside is really just all designer series paper with different greetings in here on the blue designer series paper. And it's a special card. I do have a video of how to make this. And then what I did on the back was I added another white panel with the mat, and I wrote a special note to her on there on the back. So that's card 14. Just really, really lots of things that you can do with this Hydrangea Haven stamp set and the dies, and especially the designer series paper. So I hope you'll check everything out. If you have any questions, just contact me. I'd be happy to help you. And I hope you'll give some of these a try.